OMFL Jacksonville Jaguars review, the official recap show for the OMFL Jaguars. I'm Mike Fleury, aka Mick Fleury, and in today's episodes we will be going over weeks 10 and 11. I'm presently on bye, and we're going to be changing the format of the show to go every 2 weeks, so that by the end of next season, when we restart these, it will be 9 episodes a season, plus a recap for the finale, maybe one for a recap of the off season, so the beginning of the season. 11 episodes total. Get those 100 points. Make it all very efficient and a little less scattered all over the place. And we'll go from there. As you can see, team rankings right here. We are presently first in points per game at 32.4, 22nd in passing yards, not much of a passing team, 5th in rushing yards, 6th in defensive points allowed, 19th in passing yards allowed, and 5th in rushing yards allowed. Massive departure from the beginning of the season where we could not stop anyone for anything. We're going to jump right into week number 10. And as you see here, at 28-27 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Basically, this game came down to a final play. As you can see here, Trevor Lawrence, 5 interceptions. Not a great game for him. Not really, I wouldn't say bad passes per se. I would say tight window throws that didn't quite make it. Or in some instances, I didn't let the receivers get open enough before I threw it. I was feeling pressure when there really wasn't. We didn't take a sack, but I just couldn't find a rhythm in this one. Credit to the Vikings defense. The game came down to a final play, basically a Hail Mary from the Vikings. I will say this. I think I gave maybe him a little too much credit. When planning that final play, he had about 26 seconds left, the ball on, I think, about the 35. And in my head, I'm thinking, I recognize the formation he was using. I know Justin Jefferson, rather, is on the inside. So I assumed in my head, I'm thinking he's going to try to get a bunch of quick hitters, maybe do a crosser, get as many yards as he can with Jefferson, maybe set up 15 seconds. If he runs 2 plays, picks up 30 yards on those plays. Next thing you know, he's got 2 or 3 plays from about the 40. Another quick hitter, probably 2 plays from the 30, the 25, and a timeout left as he had managed to save a timeout. So I, looking at this, decided not to play prevent defense, which would have put a linebacker against Justin Jefferson. I played quarters 3 deep and forgot, admittedly, that the third deep safety, the middle safety, actually comes down to the line. So as I'm setting up the play, getting onto my user, pulling him back a little bit, I was not looking, and I didn't see that I didn't see where the third safety was. Unfortunately, he was not faster than Justin Jefferson. I kind of, I personally, I see verts and like 4 verts or 3 verts, or I think it's 4 verts, as like a kind of a give up play. You're just admitting that you're just chucking and praying. So I didn't expect him to throw that because I figured he would be expecting 3 deep, just throw right into that. It's usually going to be intercepted or knocked down. So I assumed he would be trying to play strategically. And I guess, I don't know, maybe he thought of that, or maybe he got lucky and was conceding. And, what can you do? Justin Jefferson hits a 78-yard catch and run and wins the game, basically. Previous to that, he'd only had, looks like, 24 yards? Or is that 14 yards? 14 yards, my apologies, on 2 catches. Granted, 3 touchdowns, but they were short yardage catches. I think there was a slant and an out. So we had done a really good job of keeping Jefferson in check. We did not do a great job of keeping his run game in check. As you can see, he had about 124-ish yards, if my quick math is right. He was able to run the ball very effectively. He played a really good game. His defense was incredible, minus maybe his rush defense, which allowed ETN to go for 125 yards. This is important because after this game, ETN, for my game against the Lions, had a development trait scenario, which, spoiler, I succeeded on. It was basically to get this exact same game, 125 and a score. So right now, Travis Etienne is a superstar X Factor for at least the remainder of the season, assuming he doesn't regress back down to superstar at the end. But he is top 2 in rushing-ish. So this game was really difficult for passing. As you saw, Trevor Lawrence had 5 interceptions. I could not get the ball to Colin Fredrickson. I think 3 of the interceptions were on passes meant for him. Just plays where, as I said, you're throwing balls into tight windows, you're throwing balls into trying to lead receivers open, and his players made plays. Sometimes I didn't wait long enough. I was feeling phantom pressure. He didn't get any sacks, as I said, but just throwing balls before they needed to be thrown resulted in a bunch of interceptions. He had a really decent game in that respect. Shut down most of my receivers and basically my passing offense. And still, we managed to come down and almost win that game. But unfortunately, we fall. We had 3 interceptions ourselves, including a Ronald Darby interception, which allowed us to go up 6 before, catastrophe. He had, as you can see, Blackman had 2, Gilmore had 1, got 1 from a safety, 1 from a linebacker. Just a really good defensive game. I can't take that away from him. I'm still thinking about that game a little bit. I'm still thinking about that loss. I kind of really wanted and needed that one. We'll get over that, we'll go over that a little bit later. The Lions game, unfortunately, was a CPU game. Tim had some family stuff come up. We pushed the schedule around a bit, tried to make room for it, and then it couldn't quite work. And my windows were tight this weekend with Canadian Thanksgiving. So unfortunately, we weren't going to be able to play. So he offered me a chance to play the CPU because he was not going to be able to show up. So I played them. It was a pretty standard, boring game. Trevor Lawrence, 13 of 16, 164 and a touchdown. Goff was like 22 of 26. He was really good. 325 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. Our run game, though, as I said, ETN gets superstar X Factor. I believe I put Truz on him so that he won't fumble. Not that he's a real big fumbling player, but I figure screw it. I'll go over it maybe next season, assuming he keeps it, and first one free or something like that. We'll see. Donovan Peoples-Jones ate me alive. He was great in this one. 7 catches, 118 yards. But specifically for us, Brian Thomas Jr., 4 catches, 81 yards, and a score. Really trying to make it a point to get him on the field more, get him in the offense more. Try to look his way at least off the line, because if he wins, if he doesn't have a great release, but if he can get by his corner, most corners aren't going to be able to keep up with him, so he can hopefully maybe get some yards, get some big plays for us. Fredrickson, 6 for 48. Not huge numbers, but he played his role. He helped move the chains and got us a win. We got 3 sacks here for Oluwakun. He also had an interception in this one, had a really good game. I think he got a Player of the Week nod, but obviously I'm on bye this week, but I think he got Player of the Week for this one. But again, it was a CPU game, so it's really difficult to say much definitively about us one way or the other. Anyways, we're going to back right back out. I don't think I showed. So this is the current standings right now. Tennessee and Houston are playing this morning. As I speak, it is Monday morning. I'm filming at 4 in the morning. We are 8-3. Tennessee, if they can beat Houston, will move to 6-5. That's 2 games behind us. If they lose, Houston will move to 5-7. They'll be 5 and Tennessee will be 5-6. That'll put Houston 3 games behind us with Tennessee. Unfortunately, Indy is basically out of it at this point. But with a win, Tennessee can really have a chance to make a run. We have Houston, Tennessee, I believe the Jets, the Raiders, Tennessee again, and then Indianapolis the last 6 weeks. So we really need to pay close attention to the standings because it's not over. 8-3 is good, but we have teams that can beat us. Indy can win. He's struggling this Madden, but he's working to figure it out. Houston's on a bit of a upturn. They were like 2-7 or so to start. So, being 4-7 is they've won a couple in a row, or like 2 of their last 3, I guess maybe. Same with Tennessee. They're winning, so we have to really keep an eye on this. We have games against, as I said, Vegas, and I believe the Jets. I don't know. They've been CPU the last couple games, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But we'll have some tough games coming up and a lot of divisional matchups, and that will basically decide our season. So, anyways. That's probably just about to wrap things up for us. I'm just checking the time. 12 minutes. Seems good enough. As I said, we'll be going to probably 1 show every 2 weeks to make it a little easier for tracking these in terms of incentive points. So the next time you will see me will be following the week, I want to say 14? Yes, week 14 game against Tennessee. I'm hoping to be 10-3, but we're aiming for 9-4. We figure 10 wins probably gets us into the playoffs. 11 wins probably wins the division. But we're not focused on that right now. We're just trying to get the wins. So, with that all said, that wraps things up for us here. For the OMFL Jaguars, I am Mike Fleury. And as always, we will add intros to the list of things that I need to do better next time.